So that was the thing which I was discussing in my previous session. So in my previous session, we calculated up to the t statistic. Value came out to be 2.72 corresponding to the given problem. And we found that the calculated value was exceeding the tabulated value. By the by, I saw 47 participants in the previous session. Now I can see, okay, others who joined in the previous session, tell them to join and put their attendance. Otherwise, they are going to miss the class if they do not put attendance in this session. Anyways, so we rejected the null hypothesis. My problem is done. We are going to accept the alternative hypothesis. How to calculate the level p-value over here? What is p-value? If I try to recall the definition, p-value is the lowest level of significance that at which the null hypothesis would be rejected. So that lowest level of significance is going to be calculated right now. So next time coming to this part, the p-value for a t-test. So I'm going to explain the entire thing in detail. The p-value for a t-test or for any test is just the smallest level of significance at which the null hypothesis would be rejected. That is, it is the tail area beyond the value of the test statistic T naught for one-sided test, or twice this area for a two-sided test. I hope you have understood this particular statement, because already the three figures have been shown to you in the previous session. Because the T table in appendix, okay, they are talking about the appendix where the table has been shown in this particular book, but the chart which I have sent you was from a different book. I am going to compare the two charts together because I can remember that in some years back, one of the students who was learning statistics from me, he claimed that the book which I was using, he wasn't having that book, and therefore he wasn't understanding the chart of his book. And he was familiar with my chart, my book's chart. A very ridiculous statement that he made. That means whenever he has this book, my book, then only he can do the statistical problem. With other books, he will not be able to do the statistical problem. So this sort of experience I had in one of my earlier years of teaching. Anyways, maybe the problem was genuine for him, who knows? But maybe it could be a trick that he used to avoid doing sums and etc. Everything is a possibility. So that's why I'm just trying to show you. I'm actually showing you two different PDF files. Okay, statistical table from one book, problem from another book, so that you cannot make this claim. Okay, now you see that from the table, they have used this particular thing. Just concentrate on that. Critical values, they have written 0.258, 0.692, all these values they have selected from that table. And tail area is this. What is this? What are these things? I'm unable to understand. Let us go to the section, the statistical chart that I shared with you. Tail area. Just look at this. The level of significances are actually the tail areas. Just try to what level of significances we have: 0.40, 0.25, 0.10, and so on up to 0.0005. Here you see same thing has been written: 0.40, 0.25, 0.10 up to 0.0005. What is tail area? At 14 degrees of freedom, we are interested for this particular problem. We are interested in 14 degrees of freedom. So come to this section. Try to find out the values. Okay, what are the values? 0.258, 0.692, 1.345, 1.761, up to 4.14140. Isn't it? These are the values. Now let us go back to this. 0.258, 0.692, 1.345, 1.761 up to 4.140. So by critical value, they actually mean the values corresponding to the 14 degrees of freedom. Tail area means the level of significance. The thing now, if you see that, if I give you this note and you have this table, if I don't tell you about this particular thing, you will say that, sir, I am not understanding the problem with respect to the table that you have shared with us. Okay, things look very different to us. That's why I am trying to tell you, I'm trying to show you that maybe the names are different, meanings are same. Now the t value has been calculated. Now this part that I'm going to show is actually very important. The example in which we discussed a few minutes ago, in that example, the t value came out to be 2.72. Okay, no problem. And this 2.72, you are unable to find in this particular critical values. 2.72, this direct value is not present. But what you can say is that your t value 2.72 is lying between these two values, 2.624 and 2.977. So that means 2.624, this t value is corresponding to the level of significance 0.01. 2.977 corresponds to the level of significance 0.005. So, and your value 2.72, at which the null hypothesis got rejected, falling between them means somewhere between these two level of significances, your p value is there. So therefore p value must be between 0.01 and 0.005. 0.005 will be the lower limit, 0.01 will be the upper limit. Now in this way, you see the values are decreasing. These are the largest from smallest. Okay, from right to left, it is moving in this manner. So you will get this range in which the p value will lie. Now, our example 9.6 that we discussed a few minutes ago was an upper tail test. Why? Because we assumed the null hypothesis. Alternative, in case of alternative hypothesis, we assumed that mu greater than 0.82. So my diagram corresponds to the diagram, second diagram that I actually showed you. This was my diagram because it was the upper tail test. Okay, and this is the thing that I can write over here. Now, since example 6 is an upper tail test, if the test is a lower tailed, okay, they have just written that since due to the symmetry of the population with respect to the normal distribution, similar type of conclusions can be drawn with respect to the lower tailed testing. Okay, so in that case, we have to consider this portion. But if the testing is two-tailed, then in this case, you have to consider both the sections. One shaded region on the right-hand side, one shaded region on the left-hand side. So you have to be very careful about the type of testing you are using. This consideration must be taken into account when you compute the bound on the p-value. Okay. For example, suppose that T naught is 2.72 for a two-tailed alternate based on 14 degrees of freedom. Now they are just showing you here, they are just showing you that what would happen, what would have happened if the alternative hypothesis was not like this. How to do this analysis? Suppose in the problem, according to the problem, my alternative hypothesis, if I'm writing this alternative hypothesis in this manner, how can I analyze the situation? They are telling this. They are saying that for a two-tailed case of the same analysis, that is at 14 degrees of freedom, you have to consider two things. Okay, alpha and T naught is 2, because your value is lying between 2.624 and 2.977. So the value T naught greater than 2.624 will correspond to the level of significance 0.02. How is it coming? because since it is a two-tailed test, actually, if I consider this to be, you will understand it in a better way. Although they are writing this level of significance, they are denoting this level of significances by alpha. For two-tailed test, it will be alpha by 2, and this portion will be alpha by 2. So actually alpha by 2, if alpha by 2 is 0.01, so alpha will be 0.02. And if alpha by 2 is 0.05, then alpha will be equal to 0.01. In two-tailed testing, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. If I consider this two-tailed portion, our testing is not two-tailed, it is one-tailed testing. So the value in this way, we can say that this p-value of my situation will lie between 0.01 as the lower limit and 0.02 as the upper limit. Because 0.005 was the lower limit and 0.01 was the upper limit. So if you divide this by, if you multiply the entire thing by, I mean, they are using this equation. Okay, they are using this equation, and they are multiplying for two-tailed testing. They are multiplying the entire inequality by 2. So they are actually getting, this is actually being reversed. Sorry, this portion is 0.005 and this portion will be 0.01. Upper limit is 0.01. Sorry, 0.01. And they are dividing the entire portion by, they are multiplying the entire inequality by 2, because if we consider the two-tailed test, then that this portion becomes 0.01 and the p-value will lie between 0.01 and 0.02. That is going to happen in two-tailed test. Now 0.05 p-value is what? P-value is the lowest level of significance at which the null hypothesis would be rejected. Okay, so any value greater than this p-value, if you consider any value, any level of significance greater than this p-value, null hypothesis will always be rejected over there. And therefore, at 0.05 level of significance, the our null hypothesis will also be rejected. Now, if you consider the one side only, it's upper part only, that means at least you can say that you can consider this portion only, and you will say that my p-value is something which is less than 0.02. Okay, and once you find the p-value, you will say that, okay, this p-value has been obtained, the level of significance has been obtained. At this level of significance, the null hypothesis would be rejected. Any level of significance greater than that, if we consider, the null hypothesis will always be rejected. And this is the reason, sorry, this is the reason for which at the 5% level of significance, our null hypothesis of the problem got rejected. Because if you consider any value lesser than 0.02 to be the p-value, 0.05 is obviously greater than that, because 0.05 is greater than 0.02. So your p-value is coming out to be less than 0.02. So 0.05 is obviously going to be greater than that, and therefore at 5% level of significance, it is getting rejected. Okay, but you see, since it is a one-sided test, if you consider the 1% level of significance and your p-value is lying between 0.01 and 0.02, 0.01, this 1% level of significance is actually less than the p-value. And if you consider any level of significance which is less than the p-value, there the null hypothesis should be accepted. Okay, so if we would have considered the p-value to be less than, let us try to find out what we get at 1% level of significance at 14 degrees of freedom. Just see. Point at 1% level of significance, the value came out to be at 2.624, but our value is 2.72. Yeah, there also calculated value is not actually lesser than the tabulated value. But here my testing is actually not two-tail testing. My testing is actually one-tail testing, and therefore a little bit of analysis, there will be a little bit of change in the analysis. The analysis which I am actually showing you it is because this two-tail test has been considered, for which the p-value came out to be lying between 0.01 and 0.02. With respect to that, if you select any level of significance greater than this, your null hypothesis is going to be rejected. And in this situation, if you consider 0.01 to be your level of significance, then that is less than this p-value at which the null hypothesis would be accepted. Okay. Why it is happening? Because our test was not actually a two-tail test, but they to make you understand the analysis, they intentionally assumed the two-tail test, and they showed you how to analyze the situation if the test were two-tailed. Okay. Finally, the remaining section is actually they talked about this computer programming and so on forth. Anyways, I'm not interested on this. So basically, the t-testing, in t-testing, the main important part that we have discussed here is that t-testing, why it is required. Let me summarize the situation why it is required. It is required. It is a kind of exact sample test. It is required when we have small samples at hand. When we consider the t-testing, then we actually use the sample of small sizes taken from a population which we assume to behave normally. When we consider the t-testing, we consider the degrees of freedom also. For degrees of freedom, this degree of freedom corresponds to the calculation of the deviation, which estimates the unknown population deviation. And in the sample size, the actual sample size we consider. If the calculated value of t is greater than the tabulated value, we reject the null hypothesis. If calculated value is less than the tabulated value, we accept the null hypothesis. This is the basic fact. And if you are familiar with this calculation of confidence interval and level of significance, the concept has been understood by you, any situation you can analyze by yourself. Okay. Remember that exact sample test can be used in large sample theory, but large sample theory cannot be used with the sample with small sizes. These facts that you have to keep in mind. I will share this note to you, or you can do one thing. You can download this book, and you can, as you can see, the page number 356. It's a huge book. 822 pages are there. So this 300 this chapter, let me get back to the chapter. This chapter I'm considering, just let me show you. Yeah, this chapter 9 that I'm actually suggesting you to study, all of you. So you can download this book and you can go through this particular chapter, and there you will find the detailed discussion of level of significance and p-value. Okay, so I'll suggest you to download the book, and you can do it by yourself, and you can read this chapter as well. If I try to split this PDF file, it will, I mean, this is actually the uploading of this book to the this particular website takes, in my case, my situation, with my bandwidth, it's take much longer time. So it is better you download and you read it by yourself. I have already referred to you what particular pages I was teaching. 330, this page number 330, you meant note down, and this chapter 9 of statistical test of hypothesis of a single sample. So this is all about t-statistic. Anyways, today I'm not going to continue any further on this testing of hypothesis because I have to take one examination in another section. So that's why I have to uh, finish my class right now, because I have to, the question preparation is still there. I have to prepare the question as well for that particular section. And that their test time that they I have got for them is 3 p.m. Sorry, yeah, 3 p.m. So that's why I have to stop here right now. Your examination, CA3 examination, will be, as I have already told you in WhatsApp group, that will be taken day after tomorrow. I'm preparing the question paper. You are going to get uh, 1.5 hours for submitting your answer through Google form. The test timing will be from 6:30, as I mentioned. So far as I can remember, it was 6:30 I mentioned over there, or 6 or 6:30, I cannot recall right now. And you just, I'll say that you just try to clear your doubts about this level of significance and p-value. These are extremely important. Okay. And also I want to tell one thing, want to mention one thing, that if you find, when I say, when I take the class, I say many things. Sometimes I miss some important points, sometimes I do some mistakes in here and there, but I am uploading these things in YouTube so that you can later visit. In later visit, if you can find any defects here and there, you can WhatsApp me that, sir, in that video, in there you have mentioned a mistake. So in the comment section, I will correct it. Okay. So anyways, best of luck for your examination. Tomorrow we have class. Tomorrow we are going to discuss some problems on T distribution or T statistic. Right now I'm going to stop. Hope to see you soon tomorrow. Till then, bye.